Hello everyone, welcome to the next of our live streams. I hope you're all doing well. This is one of our kind of write with me sessions, so bring your own work, write, and if you have any questions at any point during the stream, just, holler out, let me know, and I'm happy to answer kind of live. That is the point of this, just to keep us all going and make everything as unintimidating as possible. So my plan of action for today is to plan out the new chapter 1 and see how it fits in the flow. So I'm going to kind of do a lot of chatting with the AI in chat, seeing how things go, kind of trying to flesh out some ideas, and then we'll see how things are from there. And yeah, just kind of like go with the flow. Hello, Robert. Nice to see you. Chad says, hi, new user here, but I've been watching the past streams. This is the first one I've caught live. Thank you for oh, no, you're very welcome. Like, I have so much fun doing this. Like you wouldn't believe. But if you have any questions about Novelcrafter, any aspect of it, I'm happy to answer them during these streams and just kind of give live demonstrations and stuff. Like, I think that really helps sometimes, like if you're a visual learner, because like we have documentation, but seeing things sometimes is better for some types of learners. Let me know if I'm speaking too quietly as well. I'm trying to kind of get the mic nearer and turn up the volume, but I realize that sometimes I speak a little quietly. So I will try and speak slower and louder. Yeah, so what are you all working on? So I'm going to, start with my only dogs left. I still always get Notion and Novelcrafter mixed up. I think I'd started doing some notes. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, we were going to do the blackout. Okay. So I'm going to take that. And so I went on the chat. I was there. I pressed copy to copy the entire message. And then now I'm going to plonk it in a snippet. Just so I have it for my own references. And then I'm going to go, I don't know, let's, I normally go sonnet. Let's try, okay, so Victoria, she asks, can you explain why the AI can't see my codex? 3 of my 26 entries show, but the others don't. Okay, so a codex entry is, if I go to like a character, if you go, so I've clicked on the character and then I've gone to tracking. By default, all entries are include when detected. So that means when you type in the name of a character or a location, then the AI pulls it in. This is so that it's not including everything by accident and then you end up getting charged like, lots of money. If you want an entry to be seen the entire time, you can move it to always include this entry in the AI context, which was formerly known as global entries. Or you can do some prompt tweaking. But this is probably the easiest way if you're new. So I would guess that either in your beat or the chat, it's not showing, you've not mentioned the entries, and so therefore it doesn't pull them in. If you click on in chat, like this bit here, general purpose, you can preview the final prompt and see anything. So here we can see I've got 2 global entries and they are both shown here, but nothing else is yet. But when I start chatting about them, it will be. Okay, do I use Flash or Pro? I'll do pro. So what I'm going to do, because this is an opening scene, I think what I'm going to kind of do is try and prime the AI a little bit. So I'm going to be like, what makes a compelling opening scene in dystopian sci-fi novels? Okay, so introduce the dystopian element early. Is it oppressive surveillance, environmental decay, social stratification? Introduce a character the readers can connect with. Good morning, SSN. What are their immediate concerns? What makes them tick? Create a vivid setting. Okay, okay. So I think that kind of fits in with what so the opening scene in Only Dogs Left. Morning, Heather. So Robert asks, should the AI-isms be put in the prompt or in the codex? If I'm to manually write in which words to keep away, then which words are those apart from the obvious ones? Which words qualify as an AI-ism? So that's hard because I don't. So personally, in my prompts, I don't actually have a prompt that bans AI-isms. I just track them so that I'm aware of their presence so that I can edit them out. That's how I do it. I think there are some people on the Novelcrafter Discord that do have prompts that specifically call it. But you could do something in your prompts that references, like, avoid these words. And then there is a call. If I go to my editing prompt for Dictatify, so I mean that's codex.all and then names, but you could do codex and then you could call the specific codex, I guess, that you wanted the entry AI-isms and do it by names. And then ask it to avoid those. But yeah, I mean, like things like the obvious one, I kind of find that when I start writing, depending on the genre as well, you get different AI-isms. So just kind of taking note, if you start seeing something come up like every time you generate some text, then it's probably an AI-ism. And AI-isms aren't bad because they are things that are used in real life writing. It's just more that they aren't they're repeated so often that they can kind of become tells. Like a lot of the stuff I read, I'm like, oh, AI-ism, her voice is barely above a whisper, and I'm like, no, this book was written in the 80s. It's not an AI-ism. So I think you kind of build up your own personal banks. There is one on the Codex Share channel in the Discord that has, at least at the time of writing, had all of the AI-isms that I had. So you can check that out. So I track them by so I've got my AI-isms entry. I have the in the aliases. And then if you click on the three dots, the action menu, I've got them to be highlighted in red. So it means whenever you see these words in the text, so say here, sense of foreboding, it gets highlighted. If you go on the Only Dogs Left Notion document, I have a bit explained here of the different behind the scenes sections that I have. So that might help you. But it's I track the words and then I can use them to, to just manually edit and like stuff. Oh, you're very welcome. Okay, so in the opening scene of... Sorry. Take this off now. I'm getting warmer. I'm going to put my headphones in so I can hear my voice. Then let me switch my sound from the to my speakers. And then I've got the snooker on. Okay, so I'm gonna have here in the opening scene in Only Dogs Left, I want it to begin with a blackout. It's a regular occurrence, so there is a community response. E.g. To be honest, I actually might just copy and paste most of this. And then I'm going to, so I've taken the aspects of this. I'll answer you in a moment, Heather, when I've just finished sending this message. Can you analyze what and see where we can improve them? To make a super compelling chapter. Okay, Heather says, Kate, would you mind showing how progressions work with codex details? I don't quite understand how the two play together. Yeah, of course. I'll just get this to regenerate and then, yeah, we'll go into it. So they were very similar to did you use codex editions at any point before we added codex details? I think that's probably the first thing to check. So I've got a few different so the main example I can think of is in my voice sheets. Kind of to stop clogging up the AI and to only give it the information that's needed, I use the progressions to, when a new character gets introduced, I then add in the voice sheet of how the character talks to them. Or say I have in a lot of my character sheets Delilah's opinion on them. I would then add in progressions if her opinion changes on the character. And then it means that you can kind of see how that changes. And I would probably do, so if we go into the right interface, everything, save we're at, I don't know, chapter 18. I go / I'm putting in a codex progression. I'm going to then select this to go with Perinastor. And I've gone on the action menu and it will be Delilah's opinion. And then what I'll do is go on replace, not add. So say if Delilah's opinion on Perrin changes so that she thinks he's cool now, bro. in Perrin's codex entry, we can now see that Delilah's opinion has changed. And this comes into real usefulness, the replacements, when you're generating text. Because if I do any, so say if I have 2 beats, I'm going to put 1 beat that goes just before this and 1 beat that goes after it. I've put Perrin there so he's in the context. I am now going to go, so I've gone generate prose. I'm going to the general purpose and then preview final prompt. So this is the one above. We've got Perrin. We have Delilah's opinions. We have this, which was the original. But now if we go to just after the codex edition, or replacement in this case, we preview the final prompt. Help if I actually clicked it. And then let's scroll down to Perrin. Now we're going to go to Delilah's opinions. And you can see now it just has the later detail. So it's kind of a way of being able to either add in details later that you don't want the AI to know. So say if you had someone who was a stalker or a murderer or was, I don't know, even planning a surprise party, you would want that to be there first. Or you wouldn't want that to be there at the start, whereas once the revelation has happened, then you would have it in. Does that make sense? I can try and explain things a different way if you need me to. Although I am going to delete these before I forget. Okay. Oh, I'm glad it makes sense. Yeah, no, I'm really glad that we could kind of clear things up. Like, I think kind of the use cases of it, sometimes you need to see it in use to know, oh, this is how I can apply it to my work. And stuff. I was back in chat. It goes back to the AI will ruin your surprise, but this looks like exactly, yeah, it's kind of like trying to cover up things that the AI is trying to spoil. J Fedber says, a question then, if enemies to lovers, given that the scene's dialogue and actions will show the transition, is it necessary or recommended to do those codex transitions? Kind of depends on if you how much of your text you read back. Like, it might be that your beats are enough to kind of show that enemies to lovers transition quite naturally, and so it's not an issue. If you weren't reading back a lot, or if you were using an AI that doesn't pick up on those nuances, I would definitely want to do replacements and get rid of that enemies to lovers tag. I think that could confuse the AI. I think it's kind of like, it's a good way of like being able to just kind of nudge it in the right direction. But something I get asked a lot is like, how big do I need my codex entries to be? And you don't need them to be that big. If it's like if it's an incidental character, you really, all you need in a codex entry is enough information to write them. Like, I know I was talking to Corey and he doesn't even include physical descriptions in his codex entries. I tend to include how they style their hair rather than necessarily what their color of hair is or anything like that. Like, it's more how it displays in their personality. So I think kind of it's working out what is needed for your story. Yeah. Okay, your initial ideas for the opening scene have a lot of potential. It introduces the dystopian elements, frequent blackouts, showcases community resilience, hints at Delilah's work-focused nature, and her close relationship with both Anna and Kira, and ends with a hook. Thank you, blackout. Yeah, sure. I will answer your question in a moment when I've read this. I mean, obviously, this is a summary, so of course it's telling, not showing. So the rest we need to start brainstorming on. As the city is based in the wilderness, the snowy and is near the... Oh, hello, Laurie. It's glad to have you here. And no one can cook or do anything like, you know. The lack of power would impact Delilah for sure. Let's brainstorm some things that she might have been working on. Perhaps something that would have helped with the house. Not too sensitive / important, more a nuisance, and she was close to finishing. Kira's absence is worrying for Delilah due to her backstory. Take a look in her codex to see how that would impact everything. Tighten the... how can we tighten the ending up? Let's brainstorm some ideas. Okay, so I'm going to get that to do that. So Heather says, when you have time for a second question, how do you use codex details for your characters? I'm curious what you use or have seen others use. Yeah, absolutely. I will show you. If you ever want to watch, like, watch some streams, the last two well, my mic just fell off its stand. That was quite terrifying. Let me just try and fix this, guys. No, I think I need to put that on first. Oh my god. 1 minute, guys. So yeah, what was I saying? Let me just open up a codex entry for you. So I have like the occupation, I have her story role, I have a bit about the backstory, character conflicts and strengths and weaknesses, Delilah's opinion, which goes for everything in the book, motivations, and I have a voice sheet. The voice sheets are the longest in the book. Yeah, everyone take a bio break while I fix this mic. I don't even remember how this got put together. Let me turn off the mic. Let me just quieten it down while I'm doing this. I have no idea how to get this to work, so I'm just gonna place this down somewhere and we'll just play this by ear. So Robert asked, sorry to ask this, but I read about codex transitions and they might reveal or ruin a surprise. How does it do that? Oh, as in like codex transitions is in the progressions. Like, well, you put you put the progressions in so they don't reveal the surprise. So if you had the information in your description and like it was, they're the murderer, then it'll probably get revealed really quickly into the story. And so you do the codex progressions to stop that from being revealed. Yeah, it was too fiddly to sort out while on stream, so. I mean, this isn't exactly not heavy, but I don't know. I'll place it down somewhere. This is chaotic. Okay, can you all hear me when I'm talking like this? Is this loud enough, or do I need to be louder? Hopefully it's okay. I'll just kind of keep talking loud so that hopefully it all works. But yeah, so I have the I have voice. It'd probably be easier if I go. So I'm clicking on the cog icon and then going into actually 1 minute, guys. Okay. Okay. Testing. Right. I've taken it out of the hold because that was just getting in the way. Yeah, so if we go on the cog icon and then we have custom categories and custom details, we're going to click on the custom details. From here, we can see that we have things like the backstory, character conflict, and you can see whether these, so like the backstory, I've put with multiple characters can have that, locations can have that, objects can have that. Whereas for character conflict, it's a character thing. Delilah's opinions can go for everything except a subplot because she doesn't know that subplots exist in her world. Function goes to locations because you have a function of like it's a bar, people drink at it, and also that you have objects and items have a function. We also have like things that are exclusively objects, like or like owners. I suppose you could have that with a location as well, maybe if you wanted to do that. And then each of these are either in a text field or a drop down or a codex reference. It's like owner is a text because if an item changes its owner, I want to be able to do a progression. Whereas normally I guess I could do a codex reference if it was only staying that for the entire story. Oh, you're very welcome, Heather. Yeah, codex details are so cool. Like it's easy to go wild with them. But it all depends. So like that was that. If I go on to like one of my other stories, like non-Novelcrafter, and we go to my codex details here. So they're all I don't have as many details, and most of them are character based. I don't have any details associated with other things because I just stick it all in the description. This is also because I was writing this book before codex details and I didn't want to have to transfer everything over when the book was almost finished. What else? Yeah, no, I mean, like, I think most of the other stuff I've not yet transferred codex details to. I mean, like we have a lot of this information on the documentation, which you can access through help view documentation, but some of it isn't as clear necessarily as we're trying to make it clearer. I'm currently working on an FAQ and improved documentation. It just takes a long time to get all the images and everything, and we're getting there. But if you have any questions, yeah, you can just ask. I try and like give as much information as I can during the streams. We're working on doing some more videos, but again, it's that weird thing of it takes a lot longer to do the videos than it does the live streams because you have to do so much more planning and scripts and approval of scripts and then working out what story, yada yada yada. Whereas the live streams, I kind of just ramble a little bit to you all, like I am doing here. Okay. So, did I? Okay, so I asked it some questions and got things to try and sort out. So let's see how it answered. Delilah's project, water heater repair. Oh, I do like the idea of a water heater repair. Maybe it's like, I don't know, like some kind of like geothermal thing. We can see. Heather says, what is the codex reference? I'm unsure how it's supposed to work. It's basically like if you have in your details, you have do I have any? I don't know if I even have any in here. Okay, well, let's go new detail. Codex reference. And then if you've got it in, we're going to add in Bob. The rebellion has a link of Bob to Ramus. You would use this in terms of like, say if you had species and you had lots of codex entries on different species, you could link it there. Now, it doesn't link the information within the codex, like it isn't a relation. like relations will pull in the items below it. But this is more a keyword kind of finding thing. So like you're kind of linking it to the other thing by name. If that makes sense. Okay. But no, I love the idea of the water heater. I'm glad it makes sense. Maybe the black out short circuits her repairs. That's a thought. Okay, lastly, hopefully, if you have a text box on Delilah with the title Relationship with Zachary, would you put in the box, he's a good guy, or would you need to put what Delilah thinks? So that depends. Are you writing from Delilah's point of view? So I have like so I rather than doing that, I have for each. So I have one point of view character. So on every other character or item, I have her opinion on them. I don't talk about her relationships with everyone in her codex or like between different characters. Like if it's super essential, then I'll stick it in the beat. But I have like Delilah's opinion on them, so it doesn't necessarily talk about how their relationship is, but I'm hoping that the AI will infer through her opinion that it's there. I would say, given AI, I would say always treat it as verbatim, just say he is a good guy until she finds out otherwise, because otherwise the AI will start trying to put in like foreshadowing. She thought he was a good guy, but was he really? Or something like that, which is just not going to work. You know? AI loves to spoil things. Like it wants to finish because it's been trained to answer questions and conclude things and make things nice and neat and tidy. Okay, so we're doing the water heater. Oh, and don't worry about like asking questions. Like keep asking them. Like the whole like we troll these afterwards and take everyone's questions and then add them to our list of things to make documents about. So any questions you have are super valuable. Yeah, exactly. AI loves to talk about being together. Like I mean, even just in these replies, like a comforting cacophony, things like that. Like AI has its things that it loves, and it is insane. Okay, the music isn't just music, it's the rhythmic clang of repurposed machinery combined with the melancholic strains of salvaged accordion, a familiar comforting cacophony that signals community resilience. Oh my god, that is so cheesy. Yeah, Gemini does really like purple things up sometimes. Like sometimes it's amazing, sometimes yeah. And how on earth are they getting bioluminescent fungi when like they're in a giant glass dome? Like has have mushrooms just evolved? Mm, such purple pro. Exactly, Laurie. Such purple prose. Or someone else from your planned cast of characters. Okay, so choosing the AI to generate prose, is Claude still the best? Which one? I heard you mention in a short video about Drunk Claude, use the one from October. So yeah, no, so Claude Sonnet 3.5 is what I use for generating text. Hands down, best. The issue with the latest version, the undated one, is that it is more concise, so it tries to end things sooner. So if you're one, and it's also a little bit more positive. So I say to use the old one because it gives more negative feedback. However, if you use like Gemini or something, that also does the trick. Um, yeah, it's more due to the output of the responses, like Claude Sonnet. The undated version just likes to be concise. Good for your budget, bad for your critiques. I enjoyed the Drunk Claude video. I filmed that like, oh my god, like December, November. It took us a while to get it out. If there are any other prompts you'd like videos on or any other topics you want to see a video on, like we were thinking of doing one on AI-isms and stuff like that. So I mean, if that would be interesting to you, let me know. And any other ideas you have or requests for videos, we are always happy to oblige and start work on. Okay, let's now make a detailed Heather says I still use ChatGPT, so getting overwhelmed with the other ones. Yeah, I think there's a lot of like if you're using different models and you're not used to it, it can be overwhelming. I would say like the big AI models are the most reliable. They're the most consistent. Like, you know, your Gemini, your Anthropic, your OpenAI, even Mistral, like those kind of things, like or Llama. They'll give you consistent results, and it's just trying to find something that works with your style and your prompts. Like we have the general purpose prompts, but we always want to, you know, expand on those and you want to make them your own voice and stuff. Okay, yep, no, that's good. I will add that to the list. Um, yeah, so I mean, I think yeah, using ChatGPT or like I still use like Claude AI, not for my writing, but for like the other stuff around it. Anything where I need to feed in like too much for the API. Um, it's not as good as Novelcrafter, but it works and it's a fixed fee. So Robert says, "Oh yeah, video about AI-isms. Maybe even one about your character codex details about characters like Delilah's opinions, voice sheets, etc. Um, what you use it for could be good tips to build. So kind of more like a demonstration of how I've set it out, but in short form, kind of be like, this is a way to set up your codex, kind of like top tips for setting up codex details. There's nothing wrong if you like the pros that ChatGPT gives you, Laurie, then go for it. Like I think it's finding your voice as much as anything else, but there are so many models out there and some are like dirt cheap. Like if you look at my stream on the cheap models, like seeing how cheap I could write a short story, like you really can get things out. Okay, no, that's let me add that to the video ideas list. Yeah, we'll have to do like a document on like on yeah, top tips in general. I think that would be if that's something that you'd find useful. I was kind of been working a little bit on documentation on that at the moment, but I can do a video. And if anyone has any tips they want to share as well, like what they use it for, like I really I it's fascinating seeing how other people do it, and I think that's really good for kind of brainstorming and getting things together and just um managing everything. Um and I think you come up with new ideas because I know like since doing these streams I've seen a lot of people doing the characters' opinions on stuff. And so I think it's cool to pick up these little tips from each other and just kind of like see how they go. Also, I'm loving this, you guys. You've got loads of questions. Like, I'm actually just loving just sitting here and chatting with you and answering them all. Um, it's like procrastination from the story that I'm writing. um, Although then again, like having, I don't know if you guys have this when you've got like multiple problems on the or like projects on the go. It's kind of yeah. You can even do those short ones the way you do these live streams. Doesn't need to be fancy. Spill tea, have mics fall down, etc. As long as the tea doesn't spill on the mic, that would be tragic. I mean, I don't know if it would be more tragic the tea spilling or the mic falling down. Um, but yeah. Um, but yeah, I'm happy to do nice, chill videos where we all just like chat. Um, should do them on Discord or something as well. Okay, Heather says, my characters are pretty detailed, basically an RPG character sheet at this point, but I'm stuck on how to handle relationships since I normally do that in the description box. Do it in the description box then. Like, there is nothing wrong with having things there, and because you can use headings now and like markdown in Novelcrafter. So, like, say if I have this here, like, I've got a lot of Kira's description in here, but I could always do. Sorry, there was a hashtag. So, relation ships, and then 2 hashtags for H2, and like that. But yeah, I mean, there's no reason to disregard the descriptions just because we have codex fields. Like I try where I can to put only the essential information into details, just so that you don't have to scroll as far, and like otherwise you would end up with like loads of things that you don't necessarily need. Like you might not need that she has blue eyes because you don't want the character talking about seeing their blue eyes in the mirror every single chapter. Okay, Jen says definitely add Mistral and Llama to the rotation. I love OpenAI in that way that you can catch a wave on one LL. Oh, I think you mean Open Router. You can catch a wave on one LLM and then it'll and then it'll lame out and you're able to move on to the next. Yeah. I believe DeepSeek or something like that is currently like a real favorite amongst like the not safe for work people. I've not tried it out myself, but they're raving on that at the moment. It used to be Wizard, now it's DeepSeek. But like GPT is apparently really good for like dialogue as well. Like the latest GPT, they've really improved. It's still like very purple prose, but the actual like dialogue is pretty good. Like one of my friends, Mari. Hi Mari, if you're there. Um she has some hell of a sassy characters with her writing, and that's a pleasure to look at. But I find that the prose around it requires so much editing. I guess maybe you could use GPT with like a script format and then take another LLM and use that to kind of like do all the stuff around it. Maybe that would be a thought. Ooh. Which DeepSeek though? I'm assuming whichever's the latest version or the undated version. Let me have a look. I would guess it would be DeepSeek chat. Probably this one or one of these two. I think just try them out and see which one. Robert says, "Oh, maybe a short video about those prompt boxes, like make it Kate." Oh, yeah. No, so those are all in the text replacement prompts. So they're like the make it Kate one was based on a fine tune. Like the Kateify Dictatify was when I was doing the streams where I was dictating the prose as I thought of it, and then this was just taking it and putting it into full grammar. Like a lot of these, if you go onto the Novelcrafter Discord, and like go onto the prompt share, you can see all these different prompts, and you can filter by like replacement, text replacement, and then it comes up like repetition cleanup, dictation cleanup, purple prose puncher, show don't tell. That's one of my favorites. Like St. John Luke's show don't tell is amazing. I use it all the time. Sorry, I shouldn't be throwing the mic around. I'm like acting as if I've, these are really heavy. I don't like if this is what like pop stars and stuff have to hold all the time when they're singing. Like these are really heavy. It's crazy. I think I'm caught up with all the questions. Yeah. But yeah, so the prompt boxes, yeah, they're kind of like if you go into the right interface and you highlight some prose. Let's just go for Act 1 to make it a bit smaller. These little boxes are there. So by default, you always have the expand, rephrase, shorten. And then you can take it so that you can make your other prompts to add these. Like I need to clean up because a lot of these I don't use at all. And like remember, even with like the expand and rephrase, you can just be like, yo, and then type in show don't tell in some square brackets, and it will work great. So it's pretty versatile. So what I'm going to do now is take that. I'm just copying the prose. I'm then going into the right interface. I'm going to just select chapter 1 because I don't want 107 pages of prose. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, Heather. Right. Let me put the microphone down while I explain this. So with the text replacement prompts, you can give instructions as you go along. So if you say have here, I don't know, expand and have them talk about space, you can then highlight the entire text and then do like expand or rephrase, and it follows the instructions that you include. So it's kind of like it just gives you that like everything together. Robert says, yes, I managed to make a fine tune that was a game changer. It wrote more like me. I've never felt like more like a textpert. Yeah, I think it's so cool. Like I found that the make it yourselves are better fine tunes than the prose, the beats to prose. I think it's just it can do the job a lot better. And Claude, to be fair, does a good job of mimicking style. Okay, so I'm gonna go through this. Oh, Heather, yeah, no, it's. I think that's the thing. It's like information can be a bit hard to find if you're not kind of like listening to all the nuggets or if you're trying things out. So we're trying to make things more obvious, but sometimes it's hard. But we're gonna. I mean, like, actually, I'll just ask you all while we're here. What kind of stuff would help you be able to work out these tips and tricks and stuff, like, because we do have the documentation and like the YouTube and stuff, but obviously there is still a disconnect between like users and the simple tips and tricks. So what can we do to make it kind of, I guess, more obvious? Like, I think we were trying to not shove everything down your face. Um, but is there anything that would like you guys would find helpful to just kind of get to know these things and like, because I guess like if I go on my general settings, so normally you have like the help texts showing in like people's like codexes. So we like these bits show. So we've got like some bits, but I guess for it's hard to have that for everything. But yeah, your thoughts would be really good on that. Okay, let's take a look at this and edit it, and then we'll start maybe doing some writing. We'll see. So I'm doing summaries here, just trying to work out. Into the communal downstairs hallway. Swinging down the unsound staircase. Okay. Oh, Heather says I need to pop to a meeting. Thanks for the help, Kate. You're awesome. Oh, you're awesome too. And like, yeah, feel free to come whenever. We're always here to chat. Chad says different application examples are really helpful. I can tell this app is amazing, but everything is so new for me at once. So having that context is really helpful. Okay, so I mean, is there? I don't know. Like, is it like you'd prefer some like help buttons in or something? Like, what is it that would like? I guess like what visual would help to kind of get through that? Yeah, the help button is very very overlooked. We moved it there because having the help bot in where my face is, no one used it, and so we were like, well, how can we make the help even more obvious? Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying Novelcrafter. I'm pretty fond of it too. It's crazy that like I've been working for Novelcrafter now for a year. It's like my year anniversary. I think it was like mid-January that I started, so that's crazy. I mean, I was doing videos and stuff beforehand, but that was just to kind of like help out. Yeah, I think so for Chad and Laurie, if you're new to Novelcrafter, I would definitely, or like you've not used it in a while, I would definitely suggest making a test novel to kind of try everything out, just get to know the features, and you're not like using your like super precious baby. I mean, that did end up with me then having another series that I'm writing, but that's beside the point. But like, I think it gives you a bit more freedom to just throw things out. Like that's why I do so many test novels on stream. Yeah, I was like first employee or worker. Very exciting. But yeah, no, if you, I think just having something and just delving in, like spend a couple of hours, like really getting to learn how things work, and that's how you get to know it. Like I obviously I work for Novelcrafter and work on it, but I also work with it. So like when I'm not at work, I'm there writing my stuff on it. So the amount of, and like even in work, we do a lot of our internals on Novelcrafter. So it's like I spend far too much time on it, but that's then how you get to know different tips and tricks, because you have the time to spend on working things out. And if something doesn't work, you kind of like try and troubleshoot it. So I would definitely recommend just spending time. Is that like 10,000 hours process or whatever? Yeah, so Nick Jones is saying that I think the learning curve is steep initially, but just working through your vids and then trying stuff out and then chatting in the Discord seems to be the best way. Yeah, I think following along. So we're working on an ultimate beginner's guide at the moment to try and be like, there is a lot of stuff that Novelcrafter can do, but like you don't need it. It's like a car. Like you have a car, and all you technically need to do is be able to put your, turn it on, and if you're using an automatic, just, accelerator. She says, not being able to drive. But then there's like, there's the radio and there's the indicators and all these other things that then you have to learn, that you then learn to use. But like really, technically all a car needs is something to go forward. And back. So it's like kind of make the process work for you, like make it kind of everything, like know the way that you work and then find a way to make the software fit that, rather than you trying to like learn a whole new way of writing just to make a software work. So I'm gonna say the warm glow of hooded lamps. Hello, Emery. How are you doing? Yeah, we've had a very busy life so far. Like if you scroll up the chat, everyone has been talking. We've been answering questions, talking about like initial things in Novelcrafter. Like it's been really fun. And my mic decided to fall off the boom arm, which is why I'm holding it up at the moment. And so the sound's probably really glitchy, but what can you do? Um, so I'm gonna fix that after the stream when I don't have to like be awkwardly standing there trying to screw something on while the wires are just going in the way. But how is your writing going? And like everyone else's, like what projects are you doing? Like I love hearing about different people's stories and stuff. It's so much fun. Um, I don't need the description. Anna and her family arrive, setting out their famous black hat snacks, perhaps protein bars made from recycled insects or nutrient paste squeezed from wow. He's really gone down the dystopian kind of vibes. That's wow. I'm just gonna let Sonnet decide on that. Nick says Novelcrafter is awesome. AI prose, that's the thing I've spent most of my time trying to refine. Perhaps some more vids on prose style and fine tunes. Yeah, I think, well, fine tunes are hard because they're really tedious to write a good one. But trying to get like your style in, I find like for me, the biggest thing that's made AI writing my style is giving examples. So like even with Claude, like my prose prompts, like I've not shared mine because it's so in my voice it wouldn't adapt to other people. But if you like get the AI to write some examples of like, you know, good and bad prose, and then you rewrite them to sound like you, that really helps with some of the models. But I think yeah, some videos on prose style I think could be really useful. Emery says, "Oh my god, you really chapter 10." And instead of working on chapter 11, I'm now playing with prompts. Just think of it as an investment in your future. It'll make future writing easier, right? That's how this works. Absolutely, totally. To clarify, anytime you're like, here are 3 different scenarios in which you might use this feature, that is always very helpful. You're already doing it, so I think I'm just saying, oh, well, you know, different scenarios. I think that again, it makes you be able to then work out something. It's like when you're selling furniture and like you put it in a room so people can imagine it in their rooms and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, no. I will keep doing that. Maybe we could do different ways of using snippets and the codex and sections and all that. So yeah. Okay, the dance and growing. I mean, I find that AI also loves to give headings to stuff, and it's like, or like titles, and it's like absolutely unnecessary. The music picks up and people begin to dance. It's chaotic but joyful. Nah. The music isn't going to falter as Delilah realizes that she's not. Okay, oh my god, more comments on this. Jay Feather says, agreed. For newbies, just some tidbits to get them using the main features, set their expectations. There's a lot of capability in many ways to write, and in the dark, brief one-page recipes. We are working on a cookbook. But yeah, and an FAQ. Robert says, sounds like people would benefit from visual aid videos, short or long, and then you can summarize it on Notion's Docs Discord. Stuff like new features, tips, prompts. Yeah, maybe someone maybe having a video going through each update and just being like, this is the things that have changed. Basically what you're already doing. Oh, thank you. Oh, well, thank you very much. Um, okay, this is hella overdramatic. By the way, the summary you're writing now, you seem to be doing that where you generate prose. I've done that on the yeah. So I would normally do it on the add-on summary to the side, but that is really small. So I'm going to do it here, and then I'll move it in afterwards. This is just so that you guys aren't looking at a teeny tiny bit of writing over here. Like it's purely for visual. And actually, then again, I do this when doing my own writing as well. It just means that I can see everything better. And then I'll copy it over. And this wouldn't be the summary I'd use in the end. Let's just get rid of that. Select it all, delete it, paste it in here. Okay, let's try. So I have a couple of prompts that I like to use. I use, let's go on the beat. I'm going to see if we can just beast out lots of words. So one of them is based on a sample chapter. And this is the Quarry Codex like style copying one. So it copies your thing. So this is just like a sample chapter in my voice essentially, and it will try and copy that style. So I'm going to generate this in Kate's voice. I'm going to try and do like 2,000 words. We'll see how it goes. I've not edited this prompt in a while, so I might have to use the old Claude. And then afterwards, I will use Space's prompt. Oh, okay, rude. That is really not. I think it's trying to continue from the sample chapters, so ignore that all. I will use Space's latest prompt, which is on the Discord. The water heater lay in pieces around Delilah, its innards scattered across the apartment floor like offerings to some mechanical god. 2 weeks of scavenged parts, traded favours, and bloody knuckles had led to this moment. She held her breath, adjusting the final connection with trembling fingers. Come on, you stubborn piece of... The lights flickered. No, no, no! Delilah lunged for the power coupling, but too late. A spark arced between the contacts with a sharp crack, followed by an ominous sizzle. The acrid smell of burnt wire filled the cramped maintenance alcove. Her wrench clattered to the floor. Bloody hell. She slumped back against the wall, surrounded by the fruits of her labour, now likely more broken than when she'd started. The parts alone had cost her 3 days' worth of shards, not counting what she promised old Mari for that copper piping. Back to square one. A faint rhythmic clanging drifted up through the floor. Delilah clocked her head, listening. The sound grew stronger, metal on metal, keeping time like a heartbeat, the familiar signal of a blackout gathering. Despite herself, a small smile tugged at her lips. She might have failed at bringing hot water to the building, but at least the night wouldn't be a total loss. Pushing to her feet, she navigated through the mechanical carnage to the store trunk wedged under her bed. Inside, past the spare parts and tools that comprised most of her worldly possessions, lay her contribution to the impromptu festivities. A string of salvaged fairy lights were rewired to run off the building's emergency backup. Not exactly regulation use of resources, but then again, neither were the gatherings themselves. Delilah emerged from her apartment to the communal hallway, the fairy lights coiled around one arm. The building's ancient emergency systems had kicked in, bathing everyone in a dim red glow that did little to illuminate the cracked concrete walls and peeling paint. She swung down the staircase, testing each step before committing her weight. The last thing she needed was to add a broken ankle to her list of failures. The scene that greeted her in the ground floor common area stopped her in her tracks. In the short time since the blackout had begun, the space had transformed. Warm light from hooded lamps cast dancing shadows on walls, turning the faded corporate logos and safety notices into abstract art. The harsh utility of the space had softened, taking on an almost dreamlike quality. Her name... Oh my god, that's practice efficiency. That's an AI-ism. Mr. Chen is an AI-ism name. Someone had dragged out the ancient instrument from wherever it lived between blackouts and was attempting to tune it with questionable success. Other makeshift instruments joined in, a washboard which sounded like spoons, and something that might have been a guitar in a previous life. A familiar voice cut through the growing cacophony. Make way, hot food coming through. The crab parted. The balanced trays of what had to be their famous blackout snacks, spiced protein cubes, and hydroponic vegetable rolls that somehow tasted better than anything the official ration dispensers produced. The secret ingredient Anna's mother always claimed was love. Delilah suspected it had more to do with the carefully hoarded spices she caught glimpses of in their kitchen. This is great. Oh, see you, Laurie. It's great to have you here. Okay, so they're stringing the lights together. The makeshift band had finally found something resembling harmony. A jaunty tune filled the air, not quite matching any particular style, but carrying enough rhythm to move to. People began to drift towards the cleared centre of the room, pairing off or forming circles. Come on, Anna grabbed Delilah's hand, tugging her towards the impromptu dance floor. You can sulk about the water heater tomorrow. I don't sulk, Delilah protested, but allowed herself to be pulled along. Yeah, protein cubes are absolutely okay, that goes a bit dramatic, but interesting. Interesting to see. I'm going to apply. Emery says, ah, yes, the universal sci-fi food, protein cubes. Chad says, I remember in one of the past streams you talked about having certain verbs underlined, coloured. I can see a few on your current screen. Can you remind me what that does? Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you can also see in the Notion doc, I have different things here. So I've got head, shoulders, knees, and toes. That is, I don't like it when body parts act independently of the person. Like her eyes looked, her ears strained. It's like she does it. So that's highlighting that so I can like easily like knock them out. I also have thoughts and emotions phrases like felt, thought, that kind of thing, because again, you can probably that's telling rather than showing. I have Americanisms. So if anything, because like Claude writes in American English all the time, I can't seem to like get it to write in British English, and like that's not an issue in general. It's just for consistency for me. I want to be able to remove it. And then also weak verbs. So like was it like she was running? You could say she ran. So it's kind of like indicating where they need to be replaced. So I have like this like behind the scenes codex. So mind, fingers, eyes, nose, ears, thought, felt, wondered, knew, realized, sensed, understood, remembered, was, were, is, are, be, been. Basically infinitives. Weak verbs are infinitives. Okay, Peter. Hello, Peter. How are you? I'm a total newbie, so maybe my question might be crazy. No crazy questions. I have the outline of a book, some chapters, and lots of scenes. Is there an easy way to use various AI models to process it? Okay, so when you say process it, that is a big thing. So we're gonna have to break down what do you mean by processing it? Do you mean you want to make coherency out of what you've got? You want to continue on the story with the next bit? You want to mimic your style? You want to add everything into Novelcrafter? Like, when you say, or you're just wanting to finish the book, you're gonna have to be a little bit more specific with process it, so that we can help. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Let's try Kate's voice again. Maybe it was just being, a poo. Okay. See, what the issue is here is that because I'm using a past scene from this book, it's then bringing that into it, which is fine. Like, that's fine. It's just not what we're wanting with the scene. I'm just trying lots of old prompts now just to see what comes out, if there's anything. I'm going to head soon, I think, because this is aching, but we will see. Okay, well, this was really short, but section, apply. I'll need to have a look at my prompts, I think, for next week. And the power surge crackle through the wiring, Nova's balls. I love the swears, the creative swears. Why does she need an old pipe wrench? See Chen again. She broke away from the weaving. Oh, I like that they've got glow sticks. That's nice. I mean, I don't get why they're warm when they find them outside tomorrow, but yeah, that's cute. I like glow sticks. I want to use glow sticks now. That's got to be a thing. A wrapperless protein bar. Okay, yeah, this is far too over dramatic. We need to like tone this back, just be like, okay, her sister's not there. It's not the end of the world. It's just a little bit suspicious. Um, okay, Guido says, I was deciding on asking or not, but I need to know. I want to know how to work with nobility titles as details using codex references as owners. So you're wanting like so because if we go into details, if we go into Bob and rename it. Now you codex references don't pull in the information. So I would say in general titles would be law. But remember that just doing a codex reference doesn't actually pull in all the details about the codex. It just pulls in the title. So at this stage anyway. So you would want to have it kind of you'd want to also maybe like nest it and have it as a pet like a child reference. So if say we have Kira, you would want to go onto relations and add it as a child if you were to do if you needed the information about the title also to be there. Okay. Peter says, okay, now I write a scene and then I select a prompt to write it. Then on to the next scene and repeat. Is there a way to make Novelcrafter use different prompts to compare output? Yeah. I mean, like if you add in, so if you go onto the Discord, which is linked in the description, you can go on the Discord. People have different prompts, or you can use different prompts, or you can use the general purpose prompt and like try different models. Did you see how when I generated the text, I clicked section and then it put this into a section? And so I've got different versions of the same text. So you can then take that, compare the different outputs, be like, which one do you prefer? I usually kit bash, so that means I take my favorite bits from each and smoosh them together. So I would say that would work. And then on to the next one and repeat. I think given that the prompts use words before, especially if you're in the same character or the same like point of view, you would want to edit your chapters before moving on to the next one, or at least like make sure you've got the prose like in a decent draft form, because it will copy any mistakes you have. But yeah, I mean it's pretty simple. Like there's resources again. If we go on the Discord, you can go onto like the scene beat completion, and then also on the top here is a link to the Novelcrafter documentation on how to share prompts. It's a little bit different now that we've got prompt components, but like not appreciably. So that would be something that you could do. Yeah, sections, absolutely sections. If necessary as well, if you wanted to do kit bashing, I also then will go click on the actions menu, copy, and put it into a snippet. And then you can like have your snippet there at one side and then do your editing on the other. But for just gathering up the data, sections, absolutely. I kind of use the two in conjunction with the other. Yeah, I mean, does anyone else have any questions while I'm here? Because I think I might head off soon. Because I'm not getting any writing done. I need to like figure out the prompts, and that's kind of hard to do when I'm holding a microphone. But I'm happy to answer questions, and yeah, we've got some good questions today. Like it's been a very, very active session. It's been great to have you all here. Like I've enjoyed it. I think you've all hopefully got some value out of it. If there's anything you want me to go over again as well before we go, also totally happy to do that. Chad says, just a massive thank you for all your help. Oh, you're welcome. I'll try and catch more of these. Um, oh no, I think it's fine. So what it is that there's a screw that I think came undone. So I just need to rescrew it in. But because it's really heavy, I just couldn't do it while on stream. But I very appreciate that, Joy Fedber. Yeah, so we do these streams at the same time on Wednesdays and also at this time. So it was like 4 p.m. GMT on Saturdays where we have a more kind of like class like situation. And we're going through a beginner's set, so like kind of like your first hour in Novelcrafter. If you have different, like, either you've got an idea, or you want to just start writing, or you want to start planning, or you've already got a book and you want to edit it, those kind of things. Um, so yeah. Okay, well, you're very welcome, everyone, and I will see you on Saturday, where we're doing Novelcrafter. I've got a plan, or I've got like ideas, and I need your help planning. But yes, bye.